accident. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Good morning, my friends. How's it going?
The Audio Genius.
Get in on the conversation with Rufus Williams and the Morning Show at 591-1690. We are the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Good morning, my friends. How's it going? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood to do some talk radio. It is Abdul in for Rufus Williams this morning. Always good to be here. Coming to you from the southern flank of the WVON Military Brigade. And there's my dog in the backyard in case you guys couldn't hear. Always good to be here filling in today. And I think maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure yet. We'll figure something out. So it'll be a good day today, too. Lots of stuff to talk about. And I really want to spend some time exploring the Chicago Transit Authority, or as I call it, Chicago and Trump Authority. Ta-da, ha, 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 ha. Because the president made a comment recently about the CTA. I thought it was kind of odd. Because actually, I'm going to be in town later this summer, and we'll be using, debating whether to use the car or mass transit, trains, buses, L's, the whole 9 yards. Because I told myself this summer, I'm going to take a weekend off and go to Chicago White Sox game. Big White Sox fan, have been since I was 8 years old. White Sox, St. Louis Cardinals, Seattle Mariners, my 3 baseball teams. Not a Yankees fan, the Cubs, whatever. And so as I was planning out my trip, I was like, okay, how do we do this? We're not going to park at Comiskey. I still call it Comiskey Park because that's what it is. It's new name, whatever. I was like, okay, we can park, south side of town, in Gary, then just, mass transit up, or we could stay downtown at the Union League Club, where I usually stay when I'm in the city, and then just mass transit on down to Comiskey, and then mass transit on back. But then I got to thinking, because I'm not one who goes looking for trouble, so to speak. Because I have a acute sense of self-awareness and situational awareness and paying attention to my surroundings. However, ladies and gentlemen, with all the talk about the CTA and crime lately, it's like, not quite sure about all this. Is it worth it? Is to me the bigger issue. Because I read about somebody, just going to work every day, getting shot or stabbed. Now the CTA says that crime has stopped. Or not stop, but dropped over the last 6 months. This came after a number of different things. The police presence, obviously. A December 25 special directive. And, this was the interesting one. Threats from the Trump administration. Saying, hey, if you people don't get your crap together, you can get some of this funding goodbye. And so what did the CTA do? the red line in particular. Red line is in the color red, not red line as in blood. So throw that in there. But the focus of extra patrols showed the biggest numbers. Through June, the red line saw a 47% decline in all crime and a 76% drop in violent crime compared to last year. Now the June over June red line figures are 47% for all crime, 69% for serious crime, and 76% for violent crime. Now, please note, this is coming off a record year in violent attacks. So it turns out the CTA closed out 2025 with 469 violent attacks, the most going back over 25 years, capping a 5-year continual rise. And earlier in the year, ag batteries were up 8% year to date, 27% more than 2024, and 30% more than 2023. And by July, though, those ag batteries and ag assaults had fallen below their same level at this point in 2025. So it seems like the aggravated battery has been kind of going up and down a bit on the CTA. And here's the interesting thing, though. I always say when you look at a situation, it's not what it is, it's what it looks like. In other words, it's the public perception that controls the narrative, not what the actual position is on the ground. And CBS Chicago found that despite numbers, some writers still refuse to use the red line and blue line based on their own experiences. You know, some people feel that it's just not safe, I'm not getting on it. I don't want to be stabbed or shot or to deal with somebody, smoking weed, which I think is ironic since marijuana is not illegal in the state of Illinois. And also throw in the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that the CTA's ridership have been dropping pretty consistently. Like I said, they're dropping consistently, but they're also building more stuff. Which I thought as well. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, knowing what we now know with respect to the CTA and the red line in particular, I'm going to do something I don't normally ask you folks. I'm going to ask you for your thoughts. Well, I'll ask you for your thoughts, but I'm asking you for some advice or counsel, so to speak. Should we take the CTA, red line down to Comiskey, or take the bus down to Comiskey, leave the car where it is, or just Uber it or Lyft it? 773-591-1690 is the phone number on the program today. Now, like I said, I haven't taken the CTA in years, since my parents were alive in the old house on the south side. I go visit them, or when I worked for the Illinois Attorney General, even though I was in the Springfield office, drive to Chicago, drop the car for the parents' house, then just take the CTA on up. I also took it during high school. That's how you got to school. Ashton to 63rd Street over to Walcott, Ta-da! Lindblom Tech. So I have not used the CTA in a while, but I would love to know, A, your experiences, number one. Number two, is it worth it? So I'll say this, the CTA is much cheaper than paying to park. You got to pay to park in Chicago, you got to take out a freaking mortgage loan and get a cosigner. That's kind of ridiculous. 773-591-69. Let's go to the folks. Let's go to our good friend Brother Hall, who's online. Hey, Brother Hall, you're on 1690 WVON. It's Abdul and for Rufus. Good morning.
Hey, Abdul, man, good to hear you, man. Listen, we got to, I just don't understand, man. We being tricked and bamboozled. The game don't change, just the players. How do I know that? Because I once in the 90s was connected with CTA as a subcontractor with Pinkleton. And I'm sitting here telling you, brother, things happen, but not the way it's happening today, right? These pathways and all of that that's downtown could be very well monitored by the Popo, which my grandson is calling us the police. And I just don't see how much that they're putting into this game. What is their problem? Why they can't make these arrests? And I'm not saying that some of the Chicago policemen are not trying to cut
you're
back.
Kind of losing a little bit. Hey, why don't you give us a call back a little bit later on? You're dropping out there.
Okay.
16.
Okay. I'll call
We're
back.
going to put Brother Hall on hold because, like I said, we're losing it, my friend. There's something in the connection. But don't worry, we'll get it all fixed and all squared away because that's what we do here. We'll get you guys all fixed up. 773-591-69 phone number. It is Abdul in for Rufus Williams. By the way, don't forget the Great South Carolina excursion Rufus is doing in October. Go to WVN.com and get all the details. Looks like it's going to be an interesting trip. And actually, I wasn't thinking about going. I realized I got a trial coming up that week, so I was like, if I could do it by Zoom, that would be great. But turning curiosity and understanding, there's 718.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're starting off with DuSable Lakeshore Drive early this morning. Seeing some delays northbound right around Roosevelt Road and Staff and go to Monroe. That's mainly due to a stoplight delay, but we are seeing some brake lights there. Your complete travel time from 67th Street to Jackson, 13 minutes. Elsewhere on DuSable Drive, things look pretty good. As you make your way along the Ryan, no problems, no delays, starting out just about 18 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Getting there on both the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, not bad at all. If you're on the Stevenson, expect a 35-minute trip in from I-355 to DuSable Drive. Outbound, not too bad. The inbound side of the Eisenhower, right now, just about a 45-minute trip from Thorndale to the Burns Circle. You do want to look out for an accident. It is on the exit ramp right there at the Ryan. That spot is not causing any major delays, though. And the Kennedy, off to a pretty decent start. You're looking at just about 27 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport, 30-minute trip. Taking a look at our weather, a pretty mild day. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a daytime high of around 83, tonight 63. Right now we are seeing some clouds, and 74 degrees is 74 in Woodlawn and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Illinois on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Now back to the morning show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Sometimes I feel my heart will overflow. Hello, I've just got to let you know, 'cause I wonder where you are, and I wonder what you do. Are you somewhere feeling lonely, or is someone loving you? Tell me how to win your heart, for I have.
Good morning, folks. So I've Lionel Richie this morning saying hello. Always a pleasure to be here this morning, filling in for Rufus Williams. Always good to be here. Talking this morning about the Chicago Transit Authority, or the Chicago Trump Authority. The president basically telling the CTA to get its act together, otherwise lose its funding, make it safe. However, crime is down on the CTA. And look at this from a number of different angles. The biggest angle is me personally, planning a trip to the city later this summer. Stay at the Union League Club downtown, go to the Chicago White Sox game, go find some good pizza. Just relax and take some time off for myself. And so the question for me was, okay, if I drive, then I got to pay for parking, blah, blah. Take the CTA. I park a little bit cheaper, a little bit further outside the city, then go hang out. And so I figured, okay, you guys are there. You guys deal with the CTA a lot more than I do. Number one, is it safe? I said the stats show the crime is down, but it's not so much the stats, it's the perception. And even if the perception of crime is down, is it something that I'd want to do? And like I said, I feel for people who got to do this every day. I really do. Because this is their job, their livelihood, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. You can deal with the guy selling incense and smoking weed and the other guy defecating. It's like, really? Seriously? Let's go back to the phone. Let's see if we get Brother Hall connected. Hey, Brother Hall, you're on 1690 WVON. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Can you hear me much better now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you much better now.
Okay, thank you. Let me wrap this up real quick for you. If we don't do the right thing, whether it's CTA or any other agencies where people gather to have shelter, then we're not trying to fix this problem. We're trying to patch this problem. You have a crisis of homeless that engages on the CTA because many of them have nowhere to go. Now, I'm not trying to make an excuse for people that don't want to do anything, but there's a lot of them that's in between jobs. There's a lot of folk that fell off. Whatever the situation is, if we're not taking that and saying, well, what is the first thing we need to do? You need to clean that up. You need to transfer those folk who sleeps on those L's, transfer them to a facility. Where's the Department of Human Services? You got to say that. You got to say where are the folk who deals with mental situations? And if we're not dealing with that, we are not trying to move the needle. Lastly, let me say this, brother, because I didn't know you would have a topic today on this. If I could, please. You know, it's amazing how we're not just being tricked with CTA, but they talk about the gas prices. You notice that in the black community, the gas prices is still the same. Who's checking that? Go to Highland Park. You'll see they'll go down. They'll match what the media, what the news is showing us. But in the city, in our city where we stay in these urban areas, the gas is high. Maybe you might want to take up that topic if you could.
Hey, brother Hall, appreciate your phone call this morning. Thanks for calling 773-591-1690. Gas prices I always find interesting. I was actually working at a gas station in the summertime, 20-something, 30 years ago. I just needed a quick part-time job for the summer. We get the call, hey, gas is now, $1.94 or, $1.08 or whatever it was back in 1991. And usually if one station raises the price, the other station raises the price to keep it all consistent. Now, there's monopoly stuff going on. 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I'm just throwing that out there. But the other thing, folks, I thought was interesting too is Donald Trump this morning. Basically telling the CTA, if you don't get the crime under control, you don't get the crap together, you will lose your federal funding. And guess what? CTA, they got their job done. Started cleaning things up, more patrols, crime is down, perception's still up, crime is down, the whole 9 yards. So I'm not a Trump fan and not a Trump supporter by any stretch of the imagination. Much to the surprise of some people considering my politics, I'm an old school Republican. I'm a Mitch Daniels, George Herbert Walker Bush type. Nixon pre-Watergate. A very moderate Republican. I keep the government hands out of your front pocket and your back pocket. Because my wallet and my wife's uterus are nobody's business but our own, not the government's. Thank you very much. If my cousin wants to engage in a same-sex marriage, go right ahead. If I'm going to get married, sex is always the same. Hey-o. Very moderate on fiscal issues, libertarian on social issues. However, and like I said, not a Trump fan, but I got to give the president credit where a little bit of credit is due. Now, you may disagree with that, and that's fine because I'd be right. Is sometimes it takes the threat of losing money to have people get right with the Lord. That's why I say you want to change somebody's behavior and get them to go along with the program. I would say in the realm of civil disobedience, march, fine, whatever. But you can actually pull off a boycott. If you get somebody in the pocketbook, that's a whole different ball of wax. Because in the world of black and white, everybody's money, ladies and gentlemen, is green. Whereas my dad would say, I'd never judge a man by the color of his American Express card. But you start hitting people in the pocketbook and they start feeling it, they'll change things real fast, real quick. The CTA is no exception. The CTA is run by people. They want to get people to go and get on board with the program, show them how it impacts what's in their wallet. And that changes everything. 7:30. You're on the Talk of Chicago, Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON. It's Abdul in for Rufus Williams this morning. One more quick note here. If you've not had the opportunity to check out the NAACP's 17th National Convention, We the People, You don't have much time to figure out what the heck is going on, folks. They have been addressing these issues: voting rights, education, criminal justice, environmental justice, and economic opportunity. And so if you now want to join the NAACP or volunteer or learn more about them, visit naacp.org/thehub, naacp.org/thehub. And actually, we're going to talk about the NAACP this probably the next hour or two. And the organization 130-something odd years old, let's maybe change the focus a little bit. So we'll talk about that. It is 7:31. Talk Chicago Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON. We'll be right back.
"75 degrees, a little cloudy and a little wet this morning. Temperatures climbing near 83. Good morning. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. Funeral services were held yesterday for 18-year-old Nolan Wells. The college football star was found dead after a 4th of July trip to Horn Island, Mississippi with a group of friends. They returned on a boat without him. The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy, and his mother, Christine Wansley, and father, Elmore Wansley Sr., tearfully said goodbye.
Nolan, your father and I are incredibly proud of you. We've always been proud of you, of the young man you were, and we will always be proud of the legacy of love, kindness, and faith that you have left behind. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all. Nolan, we love you. We'll continue to fight for you.
Attorney Ben Crump is calling his own investigation and is waiting for the results of an independent autopsy. Reverend Sharpton also announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction, and actor-filmmaker Tyler Perry matched it, bringing the reward to $100,000. He also paid for the funeral services. Spike Lee and former NFL player Terrell Owens were among public figures that attended Monday's funeral. Well, Chicago Public Schools continue holding public meetings to make its case for hundreds of proposed job cuts, a mid-year spending freeze, and 5 furlough days. Yesterday, 5 meetings were held across the city, one at downtown CPS headquarters. The Chicago Teachers Union is blasting CPS's plan.
Our demands are simple. No cuts, no furloughs. This budget can't be balanced at the expense of our students and professionals who nurture and care for our city's children.
Schools are trying to fill more than a $700 million budget. CPS is laying off 763 teachers and more than 800 teacher aides. That's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 7:34.
At Fifth Third Bank, being part of the community means investing in its future. From supporting local businesses to funding neighborhood initiatives, we're here to create lasting opportunities. It's our commitment to Chicago. This is banking, a Fifth Third better. Learn how we're making a difference at 53.com. That's 53.com. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
It's the afternoon show.
Those people that are saying, I am not my ancestors, are speaking from a place of privilege only given to them by their ancestors. So how can you come here now, right, when they've shed all the blood, when they've been bitten by all the dogs, when they've been hosed down by all the hoses, when they've been slapped in the face by all the cops, and here you come after laws have been passed to say what you wouldn't allow. I am not my ancestors. I think that is insanely disrespectful.
Weekdays at 3 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Travel times are ramping up pretty quickly this morning. The inbound Ryan just bumped up to 21 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. So far, so good along the Bishop Fort and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, still moving along at the posted speed. Traffic pretty light along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, but as you make your way from 67th Street to Jackson, you will hit the brakes right around Roosevelt Road and stop and go to Monroe, mainly due to stoplight delays. If you're on the Stevenson, now 40 minutes from I-355 to DuSable Drive. Outbound, you do want to look for an accident. It is on the exit ramp, though, right there at Pulaski, making that outbound trip 45 minutes. The inbound side of the Eisenhower, a 55-minute trip. You do want to factor in a crash at St. Charles Road. And as you make your way outbound along the Eisenhower, you're looking at 45 minutes there. And Kennedy, a little heavier. That inbound trip now from O'Hare to downtown bumped up to 30 minutes. Getting to the airport, now a 35-minute trip. Taking a look at our weather, a little cloudy this morning, a little wet too. We had some overnight rain. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a partly sunny 83 today. Temperatures are going to level off tonight at around 63, but so far so good. Steady at 75 at O'Hare, is 75 in South Shore, and 75 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Good morning. Thank you, Titus, for the call, Abdul. You made my day, my friend. 773-591-1690 is the phone number. It is Abdul here. Always good to be here and part of the program. In for Rufus Williams. And don't forget, Rufus Travel Club, October 8th through the 12th, South Carolina, Charleston. Go to WVON.com and get all the details. Oh, and don't forget, I think that's today, I believe it is. Pam Morse Walton. Gospel show, Sundays, 11 o'clock. Getting an award from the mayor. Not a big Brandon Johnson fan, but I'll give credit where credit's due. They acknowledge Pam Morse Walton and her contribution to gospel radio in the City for God, 40-something odd years. Maybe 50. I don't want to age her unnecessarily. No, congratulations to Pam Walt Morris. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Art. Hey, Art, you're on 1690 WVON. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, young man. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Good. I'm only tuning in at this time because you are on the radio. It is good to hear someone refreshing, speaking from a different perspective, and allow other people to express their perspective without all the extra. It's like a grown person's show. You know, most of the programming is set up for children to be guided. When you're a grown person, you're not looking for guidance. You're looking to swap ideas and do what's just and right.
Well, I like to think, Art, at the end of the day, we all bring something a little bit different to the table. So, and if you listen to all of us, whether it's me, Cleopatra.
No, this ain't. Hold on. This ain't for you. You don't have to do that. I'm not. This ain't nothing bad. I'm just telling you what the black community wants and it needs. It doesn't need the same old doom and gloom. Sorry, white people's doing it. We can't never overcome, but all the other isms can overcome. The preachers can overcome. The politicians can overcome. Everybody else can overcome except for certain black people in our community. Somehow we still have to rely on social programs and all the other foolishness to be successful. If we focus on rebuilding and re-strengthening the black family, we will be successful and operate from a basic code of conduct and the family value system.
Well, Art, let me ask you, because you brought up an interesting point.
Yes, sir.
Because when it comes to talk about restoring the black family, obviously economics is a part of that. People been able to have jobs who can afford to take your, husband and wife can afford to take their kids, have a nice life, blah, blah, blah. I get that. It's also a matter of education. And also, how do you think the CTA fits into all this? In restoring because remember, when we were kids growing up, we took the bus all the time. I took the bus, took the L. Now I wouldn't take it unless I'm wearing Iron Man armor. So my question is, how can you have an empowered black family, with jobs and resources and the whole 9 yards, which I think is important, if people cannot get to work because they're worried about getting shot?
Okay, the people who cannot get to work and worry about getting shot is our own people. It ain't no one outside running around causing harm. Other ethnicities, 99% of the time, causing the grief. If we allow just take our black sisters. I watch our black sisters walk around in the city of Chicago with a skirt on and half her butt cheeks are hanging out, dragging her children. And we want to talk about Donald Trump and talking about the Epstein file when you have such a moral decay in your own community, among your own people, you worrying about a Donald Trump. This shows that your mind is warped. You've been warped. And then these people sit around and talk about they in class, they in school. You got the wrong teacher. The teacher you need is the creator and operate from some principle of guidance and get back into governing our community with some sense of morals and ethics. It has nothing to do with religion. So until we get back to the basics, we are not going to be successful. But I'll leave you with that and I end with what now. Focus on rebuilding and strengthening the black family. 4 or 5 of your programs on WVON, they need to be taken off and put programs on that is programming us to do better. May God bless.
Hey, appreciate your call. Thanks for calling. It is 744, Talk Chicago, Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON. Talk about the CTA this morning from a number of different perspectives. What sort of started this was the fact that I've headed to Chicago later this summer, just go catch a White Sox game and stay downtown at the Union League Club. So I was debating whether to car it, Uber it, or CTA it. Obviously, if I drive, I got full control of everything, but I got to pay to do everything. Uber, a little bit easier. CTA is the cheapest way to do things, but I worry about trading my financial security for my personal safety. Because even though crime is down, still kind of, not really quite sure. Let's look over here. But they did just spend, millions of dollars on that one facility on the far south side, so more people can ride the red line and do whatever they want on the red line. Which has always been an issue in the mass transit universe, is that if you make it easier for people to get from places that they normally couldn't get to, one of the arguments I've heard in the mass transit debate, it's not just in Chicago, but all over the country, has always been by expanding mass transit, you give people access to neighborhoods they normally wouldn't have access to, and that brings crime and other issues. I'm just saying that's just what one of the arguments always been in the mass transit debate expansion. But like I said, for you folks who actually ride the darn thing every day, whether it's the bus or the train or the L, I mean, the facts on the ground fit the stats. Is it safer? Is it cleaner? Is it an urban, means of transportation, or is it basically the movie The Warriors? It's a really bad 1970s gang New York film. You can find on Netflix or Hulu or Tubi for that matter. Now, I'll probably making this decision in a couple of weeks and some change. That's what we're going to do here. Like, am I kind of filling in the morning? I think I'll ask the audience. So 773-591-1690 is the phone number. Let's go. Tell you what, we're gonna take a break real quick here. Then we come back, we'll get to Thurgood and Philip. So Thurgood, Philip, you guys stay on the line. We'll get to you in just a second. It is 7:47. Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. That is just send me a clip. Warriors, come out and play. Well done, my friend. Well done. It's 7:47. We'll be right back.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Girl, where have you been? My laundry got backed up. I had so much laundry I felt like the help, but I found the truth.
You became a Jehovah's Witness?
I found Clean Break. For less than the price of a good meal, Clean Break washed and folded my clothes and had them smelling fresh the way I like.
It's gotta be inexpensive. You know all the hookups.
Darn Skippy. I wasn't about to pay no $100 for 2 bags of clothes. And I caught the WVON discount.
Girl, sign me up. I'm sold.
Try Clean Break today for just $25 per bag, including pickup and delivery. Call 708-980-7886 or visit cleanbreak.com. That's KLEANBREAK.com. Clean Break, fresh clothes, more free time. Get your weekends back.
So fresh and so clean, Break.
The American Heart Association is committed to being a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives, so survivors like Pam Morris-Walton can have more time to celebrate personal and professional milestones with the people they love.
Pam Morris-Walton here. Family, I am a heart survivor and I am loving life. I want you to be a survivor too. Some of the ways you can protect your heart from heart disease is by eating right, exercising, even walking or riding a bike. Watch your blood pressure, stop stressing out, and pay attention to your body. If something feels wrong, do not ignore it. Let your doctor know. The American Heart Association and I want you to live a long and healthy life, don't you?
Learn more about how to maintain a healthy heart and possible signs of heart disease. Visit the American Heart Association at heart.org. That's heart.org.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Bond TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Bond TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Things are slightly heavier along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as you make your way from 67th Street to Jackson. That is just about a 15-minute trip, but you will spend most of that time between 18th and Monroe, stop and go. Hollywood to Monroe right now, we're looking at just about a 14-minute trip, that is, stop and go from Belmont to Fullerton. The inbound side of the Ryan just bumped up to 23 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Still not too bad along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. Things are still pretty much free-flowing. If you're on the Stevenson, you're now looking at 45 minutes in from I-355 to DuSable Drive, 40 traveling out. The inbound side of the Eisenhower, a 50-minute trip. From Thorndale to the Burns Circle, 50 on the return. And the Kennedy heavier. You'll need 45 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport, almost a 40-minute trip. Taking a look at our weather, we had some wet weather overnight. Cloudy skies this morning. The National Weather Service says we're headed to a daytime high in the low 80s, 83 the official high, 63 our low. Temperatures right now climbing through the 70s. We are still looking at 75 degrees at O'Hare. Is 75 in Jeffrey Manor, and is 75 here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Flanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Little Prince this morning here on the Talk Chicago Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON, and his little red Corvette. Right now we're talking big green buses, the CTA, and safety, and all the other fun stuff. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Thurgood. Hey, Thurgood, you're on 1690 WVON. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Pleasant to hear your voice. Salutations, et cetera, WVON audience. In regard, crime, I think this is one of the most glaring GOP hypocrisies and manipulations of the masses. WBZ points out in a report that they did, and this has been true for the last 20 years, that although Trump and Republicans rage about crime in blue cities and blue states, statistically, crime has been much worse in the red states for the last 20 years. This is WBZ, November 7, 2025, documenting this clearly, and others. So just Google it. There's no doubt about it. In Chicago, in terms of the transit system, in terms of crime, I note the following. I think there were approximately 300 some odd homicides in Chicago last year, down from a 30% reduction from the year before, a high in 1960, from the high in 1965, etc. But what's the point? Let's do some quick math. I'm a proud Chicago public school graduate. Let's round it up to 500. What is 500 homicides in a population of 3 million people? 10% of 3 million is 300,000. So we're talking about a fraction of 1%. But yet, if it bleeds, it leaves. What am I saying? We have a media that thrives on the sensational. If me and you got together and had a literary discussion about policy, that doesn't get any coverage, but crime does. And so what addition, I'd like to point to the following hypocrisy. We have an administration that's cut funding for healthcare, education, food, slash funding for employment. We have a $700 million budget deficit here in Chicago, resulting in thousands will be laid off. This is the third largest city in America, but yet we have billions.
But one thing, though, my friend, on that,
let me finish my point. We have billions of dollars to drop into the Trump-Iraq war.
I just want to clarify one thing real quick here. Just one thing real quick, and I'll let you finish your point. On the 734 something odd layoffs in the CPS system, you got to remember, education is a very student-intense situation, and CPS has lost population over the years. I was looking at some data right now. It's like, wow, but you can't have the same number of people if you're teaching.
Yes, I understand. When we left Afghanistan and Iraq, they increased the defense budget by $25 billion with a B. So if we're going to make an investment, sir, I'm a first generation to go to college, go to law school. That was from the vestiges of the Great Society, where we had an administration that made an investment in people. What hypocrisy! A Trump administration that granted that clemency. He freed the president of Honduras, convicted in the United States court of trafficking in tons of cocaine. The president of Honduras, 45-year prison sentence, and he released him. This is an administration that cut funding for the Red Line. You want to talk about transportation that would have brought thousands of jobs, hundreds of jobs to the South Side and to the city of Chicago, and they cut it based upon the allegation that it was too much diversity, equity, and inclusion. They said this out loud. So I applaud the Johnson administration. Is the notion that we are going to lay off 700 people and a billionaire Republicans can simply write you a check from his $50 billion or $70 billion worth of worth is foolishness, because there's a simple multiplier effect here. As an economics major before law school, if those 700 people now are that you're laying off, they are no longer able to contribute to your economy. So what GOP hypocrisy?
All righty, I appreciate your phone call this morning, Thurgood. Let's go to Eddie before we wrap up at the top of the hour. Hey, Eddie, you're on 1690 WVON. Good morning.
Brother Abdul, let me tell you something, sir. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or the president of MAGA. But when you attack the movie The Warriors, you have compelled me to call in, my friend. And I'll tell you this. If you don't take it back, I will start a petition to have you not only banned from this station, but disbarred. And you dig it!
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your phone call this morning. I was not expecting that one. Warriors reference. Same 15 minutes. Oh, God bless America. 773-591-1690 is phone number. Always good to be here this morning, folks. When we come back, we're going to change gears a little bit and actually have about Nolan Wells. The young man took a boat out on the 4th of July. Something went horribly wrong. All the white kids come back. He ends up on the shore dead. Friends say he was talking to a girl. She says he went back with his friend. They say he went to talk to the girl, and it's just a mess. Well, as I sat down last night, I was putting the show together. I put on several hats. It's like, okay, let's look at this from a number of different perspectives. Obviously, there's the human tragedy. 18-year-old kid, a lot of promise, a lot of potential. Not living a lifestyle that would lead. He was not living a self-destructive lifestyle. Let's put it that way. Good kid. Could have been my son. And then he ends up on the shore doing the text messages. And I have a theory about all this that I want to share with you. And the theory actually involves a concept called Occam's razor. And Occam's razor says sometimes the simplest explanations are what it is. And I think I've managed to Occam razor this Nolan Wells situation. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. So we'll talk about that when we come back. It is 8 o'clock. Talk Chicago, Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON. It's Abdul in for Rufus Williams. We'll be right back.
Cloudy skies, temperatures climbing into the low 80s on this Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. I'm in Florida, and in the headlines, the Chicago Teachers Union is blasting plans by CPS to fill a more than $700 million budget deficit with cuts. Nolan Wells has been laid to rest. The 18-year-old college football star was found dead after a 4th of July boat trip to Horn Island, Mississippi with friends. They returned, he didn't. Now a $100,000 reward is being offered in the case. And thousands were at McCormick Place for the National NAACP Convention on Monday. It continues today. Mayor Brandon Johnson was one of the speakers. National news from the Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 8 o'clock.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. That you can be vulnerable and powerful. That you can be more connected.
Hey, Cindy.
And resilient.
Hey, let me call you back in about an hour. I'm doing WVON radio before.
Stronger. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Meals from those years are hard to forget.
Okay.
It was all white bread and whole milk, hamburger casseroles, and quiche Lorraines, all with a side of cigarettes. We ate salads as desserts. We knew a party was classy if it had a cheese log, and we never missed an after-dinner smoke. It didn't matter if we were in our dining rooms, a burger joint, or the ritziest of restaurants. There'd be an ashtray on every table, and that very particular flavor in every meal. We smoked for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's amazing that our food could taste like anything else. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Surviving lung cancer starts with a scan. Learn more at screenyourlungs.org. This PSA was made possible by industry funding and guidance from lung cancer patient groups.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
In July, Vaughn TV has your summer watch list covered. Go behind the headlines with the official launch of Portraits in Color, featuring candid conversations with music executive Matthew Knowles, community leader Jotaka Edie, and actress Danielle Truitt.
My family's very proud. It was very cool to, when the show first came out and to see myself in those credits, with dun, 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 and be like, that's me. That's crazy, It is very cool to be a part of the legacy of Law and Order now.
And that's just the beginning. Premiering this month, Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and Friends, a fresh new series featuring inspiring conversations about health, wellness, creativity, and living life to the fullest. This July, there's something for everyone on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Ada S. McKinley has a fantastic early learning and childcare program for kids from birth to age 5. Give your child a strong start. Quality childcare at 13 locations. Free and affordable options. Full days that are convenient for parents. Home-based services for expectant moms and their kids. And they welcome children with disabilities. Limited space available. Enroll now. Call 773-780-0050 or visit adasmckinley.org.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONwealthshow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
This report is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. Homeowners, would you like to save on your monthly payments? Mortgage rates have been dropping. Visit rocketmortgage.com today to see what you can save. Call 800-863-4332 for cost information and conditions. Rocket Mortgage, LLC license in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access Org, number 3030.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's Rufus Williams on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
You wonder how I do it. It's just one simple rule. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Hey. R-U-F-U-S. What's that spell? R-U-F-U-S. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Sing it, baby. R-U-F-U-S. What's that thing? R-U-F-U-S. That felt good. The Audio Genius. The Audio Genius. The Audio Genius.
Good morning, folks. No, it's not Rufus. It's Abdul. Your favorite conservative commentator. Non-crazy conservative commentator. Put it that way. These days, with what used to be the Republican Party, I have no idea what the heck that's all about. So, now, always good to be here this morning. Rufus back tomorrow on the show. Right now, I want to talk about, change gears, and talk about Nolan Wells. 18 years old, just graduated, wide receiver, Southwest Mississippi Community College, and about to report to camp. And the night before the 4th of July, he made his mother salmon for dinner. An 8-year-old who cooks for his mother. What's not to love about this kid? So 4th of July, he goes out to Horn Island with his friends. Now, Horn Island is about 10 miles off the Mississippi coast. Private boat only. No facilities, no shelter, no cell service. On the 4th, just hundreds of kids. It's a big party. So Nolan goes with his friends to Horn Island. That afternoon, his friends come back Nolan does not get on the boat. Now, that's the part that everybody can agree on in the Nolan Wells story. Because I want to be fair here before we get anywhere near suspicious. Because here's what nobody disputes. He stayed behind. He was last seen around 3 p.m, and 2 days later, a park ranger finds his body in the water off the island. Let me say that again. What nobody disputes, he stayed behind. He was last seen around 3 p.m, and 2 days later, a park ranger finds his body in the water off the island. Now, let me do something that I don't think enough people are doing with this story. You ever heard of a concept called Occam's razor? Well, Occam's razor is just a very fancy way of saying that sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. We don't go reaching for complicated things when the plain thing is sitting there right in front of you. And the plain thing is, a kid stays behind at a party on an island, turns up in the water. The plain thing is that he drowned. And I'm not going to insult you and pretend that this is crazy, because it's not. It might be exactly what happened. And I'll tell you why I'm starting there, because if I don't take the simple answer seriously, you're going to reason to trust me when I start pulling the threads. So I'm holding it out loud. He may have drowned. But here's what I keep coming back to. His family is not fighting the same medical examiner. They're not waiting on Mississippi's autopsy. They flew Nolan's body to Washington, D.C. to get a second opinion from somebody with no ties to Mississippi law enforcement. Colin Kaepernick paid for it. Ben Crump is on it. And even Al Sharpton, who I have some major issues with, is on it as well. You don't do all that over a drowning body that nobody has questions about. So what I want to do is open the phones for the next 20 minutes and change here. I want you to actually think about it before you called, not who did it. I'm not asking that. What I'm asking is, what would you have to hear as somebody who's following this story, just like all of us are here at the WVON family, to stop believing the simple answer? Because here's the thing. A bunch of teenagers together, private island, drinking, partying. Unfortunately, something bad happens. What's the first thing teenagers would do? They panic. And then they go to their parents and they lawyer up. Now, somebody said, well, if they didn't do anything, why would they have to get a lawyer? Like, easy. Number one, son, tell me what happened. Because one thing the lawyer can find out is inconsistencies in your statement. Not to say that you're trying to hide something, but plain and simply, you may not remember things the way they happened. You know, got the rush, got adrenaline going on. Teenagers scared, doing something they aren't supposed to be doing. Something bad happens. Got an autopsy report, coming back, which will be even more determinative of what's going on. And that's why whenever things like this happen, I'm not quick to jump the gun. Well, his friends killed him. Like, whoa, time out here. You can't say that because you don't know. And I get it. Trust me, folks, I get it. With Mississippi, because both my parents were born there, and its history. Take the Emmett Till story, the whole 9 yards. I get it. I understand your anger and I understand your frustration. I also understand too that we don't have all the facts yet. And until we get all the facts, this whole, they lawyered up, so they must have done something wrong. Like, whoa, time out here. Because if you ever had a family member who did something stupid, the first thing you do is tell them to get a lawyer, tell them to shut up and stop talking. One of my very close friends here in town is a guy who is a criminal defense attorney. His name is James Boyles. And when somebody gets in trouble, James hands him a card. First part of the card says, shut up. If you think about talking, flip this over. Flips the card over, shut up. Flip the card back over again. That's why you lawyer up. And then there's another part of this equation, too. That if Nolan was white and his friends were black, would they be getting the same treatment as these white kids did? I would argue, ladies and gentlemen, if their parents had the financial means, yes. Because our justice system only cares about one color, and that color, my friends, is green. Because if you've got enough green, you get the best legal counsel in the entire world. You get what you pay for. This is not to dog public defenders, because I would argue sometimes public defenders are actually even better lawyers. They do it because they believe in the client, they have passion for the job. They're not just collecting a paycheck. However, like I said, it ain't black, it ain't white, it's just simple green. And believe you me, had Nolan been white and the kid's black, their parents would have moved heaven and earth to get them the best lawyers that they could possibly get their hands on if they had the means to do it. 817 Talk Chicago, Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON. It's Abdul and Rufus Williams. We'll be right back.
Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chicago officially has the worst traffic in the country. Get out of gridlock with Metra. With our 95% on-time rate, we eliminate the stress of driving and get you where you're going quickly, comfortably, and safely. Metra. Drive less. Do more.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
It's Cleopatra Draper.
But when you say certain things like that, it's just
Well,
not
I
right.
know it's your show.
I know. That's why you called me.
I'm reading the article right here.
Yeah, but you
Article
can read.
3,
But
Section 2.
yeah, but as you read in the Constitution, they are moving the goalposts. Bianca, you too old for this.
Nobody's moving the goalposts.
Oh, nobody's moving the goalposts? Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They definitely are. And you that big black hope on the 50-yard line said, let me play.
Middays at 9 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. Homeowners, would you like to save on your monthly payments? Mortgage rates have been dropping. Visit rocketmortgage.com today to see what you can save. Call 800-863-4332 for cost information and conditions. Rocket Mortgage, LLC license in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access Org, number 3030.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
Things are picking up along the Bishop Ford. You'll hit the brakes inbound right around 111th Street, then slow to the Ryan. Pretty much the same thing happening at 111th Street along Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. Once arriving at the Ryan, you're now looking at a 25-minute trip from 95th Street into downtown. DuSable Lakeshore Drive filling up as well. 67th Street to Jackson just bumped up to 17 minutes. Pretty much stop and go from Soldier Field to Monroe. You're looking at those stoplight delays there. If you're traveling from Hollywood to Monroe, give yourself 19 minutes, pretty heavy from Belmont to North Avenue. The inbound side of the Stevenson, 45 minutes in from I-355 to DuSable Drive, 45 traveling out. You do want to factor in a disabled vehicle. It is blocking the left lane there at Kedzie. Along the inbound side of the Eisenhower, now solid at an hour from Thorndale to the Burns Circle. That outbound trip pretty heavy as well, a 50-minute trip. And the Kennedy slow at 45 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport. A slow-moving 40-minute trip. Taking a look at our weather, a wet start this morning from some overnight rain. Pretty cloudy right now. The National Weather Service says we're headed to a daytime high of around 82. Temperature steady in the mid-70s is 76 at Midway, 76 in South Shore, and 76 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Illinois on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Good morning, folks. It's Abdul. Always good to be here. Talk Chicago, voice of the nation, 1690 WVON. By the way, a little reminder, as Chicago Festival season heats up, and Metro is your right to the fun. So whether you're heading to the Chicago Gospel Fest or the Pullman Rail Days, skip the traffic, forget the parking fees, let Metro get you there. Trust me, the fares are affordable, easy ticketing on the Ventra app, in convenient locations throughout the city. Metro makes it simple to enjoy everything that Chicago has to offer. And by the way, kids 11 under, ride for free. Ta-da. How's that for non-stick? So this weekend's been less time driving and more time praising, exploring the whole 9 yards, and making memories. So take Metro, drive less, and do more. That's a pretty good slogan. I got to give them credit for that one. 773-591-629 is the phone number. Talking this morning about Nolan. Nolan Wells, the whole 9 yards. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Mustafa. Hey, Mustafa, you're on 1690 WVON. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Mustafa, you there? Going once.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. What's on your mind?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
The so-called friends that he had, were they at his funeral? That was a thought that was on my mind. Yet another tragedy. nonetheless, I just wondered about those so-called friends. People keep referring, he went with some friends. I don't know if they were friends or not. So I just want to toss that out there, my man.
That I didn't see whether any of the friends attended the funeral, but I could see a situation where they would want to go to the funeral, but the parents said, no, you're not going. Because of, once again, all the legal ramifications of everything. But thank you for the phone call. I can go online and see if I can check that out. Or maybe one of the other hosts can check out this one. Let's go to David. Hey, David, you're on 1690 WVON.
Hi, my name is not David, it's Jerry. Good morning to you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, sir.
Can you hear? All right, good. I had a couple of issues with the two things that you said. You're an attorney, is that correct? Is that correct? Are you an attorney?
Sir.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you. All right, first thing you said that nobody disputes this. The first thing about that he drowned. I don't know about that because we don't. Do you have until the medical examiner gives an official cause of death? You really don't know. Correct?
No,
correct?
that's fine. That was the first examination by the first medical examiner. The second medical examiner, when they took the body out, went to get that confirmed. But right now, the reports say he drowned.
So it's questionable. You're getting another opinion. Correct? Correct?
I mean, you want to get the opinion confirmed, yes. But right now, all we have is the official report from the medical examiner saying he drowned until we get information to the contrary. So.
Okay, I'm not going to accept that. That was acceptable that they wouldn't be doing the second counsel. Second is you said that nobody disputes that he stayed behind. Well, who are we getting that information from?
The people who were there.
Us that?
The people were there.
Right. People were there.
I know the one girl. Hold on 1 second. The one girl. The girl said he stayed, went to go back with friends. The friend said he stayed behind talking to the girl. The only people who know what happened are the witnesses who were there. Now, obviously, when you take their testimony, compare what other people said, you basically put together a puzzle. But this is the testimony that we have today. Of course, this could all change.
Me, that's questionable. The only thing you say with certainty is that he didn't return with his group. You can say that 100%, correct?
Yep.
Okay, all right. The other piece that I've started putting strings at this is the phone that's an issue for me, okay? According to his mother, she had a tracker on it, and she had to retrieve it, according to the mom. She had to go and get it from somebody who was allegedly with him. So you question right away, what teenager that leaves their phone, okay, with somebody else, okay? And two, according to her, there were messages that were deleted from it, okay? Also highly questionable now.
By the way, thanks for the phone calls. We're up against the clock here. As far as those messages being deleted, nothing's ever deleted from your phone. It's all saved somewhere in a cloud. Let's take our last call of the morning. Let's go to Princess. Hey, Princess, I'll give you 60 seconds here.
You said that if it was the black boys were the other way around, they would be questioned. It's almost a month, Abdul. You know them people would have been questioned.
Now without
station. You know they would be with a lawyer. Without a lawyer, they'd be at the police station. So stop spreading that, because you know they would be. You know they would be questioned. Not no month later and they haven't been questioned. Stop it, please.
Well, you and I would just have to respectfully disagree on that one. Thank you for your phone call this morning. And that'll do it for me today, folks. Gosh, God bless America. Totally forgot we had another program coming at 8:30 this morning. Otherwise, we'd keep this going on until 9 o'clock. Yours truly will be back, probably not tomorrow. I think Rufus is back tomorrow, but I think he'll be filling back again in October. In the meanwhile, you can also follow me on Twitter, ATTY Abdul, and also at 1690 WVON, also on Facebook and all the social media platforms, the entire universe. Basically writing about Indianapolis, Indiana stuff, and anything that affects Chicago, the Midwest, i.e. the Bears, and where they're going to move. We also talk about that as well. So, well, folks, appreciate you guys being with us. And by the way, my thing is this. At the end of the day, there's somebody who's a lot worse off. So shut up whining and stop complaining and go live your friggin' life. some advice from me. You folks take care. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Cloudy skies. Temperatures are expected to climb into the low 80s today. Good morning. I'm in Flournoy, and here's what's happening. Chicago Public Schools continues to hold public hearings to make its case for hundreds of proposed job